The Lincolnshire Move project presents Broad Beans, Buddleia and Bourbon Biscuits, Voices from an Allotment, written by the Quill Writing Group.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I am a gnome of stealth and space, and mostly go by the name of Grimble Gromble. We gnomes are elemental beings of the earth. We comprise her soul. I moved here a while back. Can't remember when exactly, but I've seen some changes here on the allotment. Every plot transforming and evolving with each new human as they come and go. Looking for an escape, looking for friends, looking for calm, looking to grow the perfect courgette. Before I came up here, I hung around down Cambridge way in the 1960s, as you counted. Met a really interesting bloke called Roger, quite a musician. I don't choose to meet many humans. They're mostly dull and don't take the long view. Roger was different, had a perspective skewed against the usual busyness I hear from the world above that reminded me of the older, slower pace of how things used to be up there. And that's when I set him on the path. Here, I need to digress into some gnomish things. We are beings of the earth, and we harvest her fruits. Some of the bounteous mushrooms we take and transmute into gnomish wine. For gnomes, it enables us to harness the rhythms of our mother to effect comparatively small changes in her behaviour. I drink a couple of glasses to summon the badgers when I need some excavation doing, maybe an extension to the library or an extra wine cellar. Gnomish can have odd effects on humans. For instance, as a young gnome, I was in Woolsthorpe in Lincolnshire around the 17th century. Met a guy called Newton. It's always the oddest humans I contact. Couple of bottles of gnomish, he was full of ideas. Did well for himself, as I recall, but went off into mysticism and then worked for the government. He was a good bloke, though prone to obsessions. Just like a lot of them you see around here. They're all obsessed, these allotment humans. Obsessed with the size of their pumpkins, or obsessed with keeping the green fly down. Funny lot, humans.
Now then, my little friends, have you been watching me doing the weeding? Have I missed any? They make good supervisors, do our budgies, Poppy.
You what?
I was just saying the budgies are making sure I do the job properly. What you looking at, Poppy?
Jake's putting his back into it this morning.
Which is more than can be said for you, my sweet and precious one.
What are you on about?
If you spent as much time working on our allotment as you do staring at other folk working on theirs, we'd have a patch worthy of Kew Gardens.
I do not stare. Have you seen Jean's hair lately?
Not so I've noticed. Why?
Well, she looks like those blackbirds we're always chasing off have decided to nest in it.
Blackbirds would not nest in someone's hair. They would use trees and hedges. Don't talk so silly.
I wasn't having a go, Dale. It was just an observation.
You should confine your observations to things more scientific, like observing those plants growing around the Bub Hotel.
Oh, you mean the poppies? I already know all about them. I am named after them, remember? But then again, you have probably forgotten I'm called Poppy.
Yes, only you would be named after something so gaudy and fragile.
Gaudy and fragile? I was thinking something more intoxicating and somewhat beautiful. Oh, look. That new woman's walking over to talk to Jean. I wonder what she's like.
Never mind that. Make us a cuppa while I feed the budgies.
Oh, hi there. I'm Justine. I've just taken over the plot near you.
Hello, love. I'm Jean. I was just thinking how lovely your shed looks now you've painted it that lovely sea blue colour.
Really? I am so glad you like it. I mean, I love the colour blue, and the sea for that matter, but I wasn't sure if everyone else would approve.
Well, they can be a rum lot sometimes, a bit stuck in their ways, but they're a good-hearted lot too. It brightens things up, and God knows we all need a bit of that some days. So, what's made you take up an allotment, love?
Well, I'm a vegan, so I wanted a chance to grow my own veg, and I thought it would be a good chance for my boys to see how nature provides for us. Plus, Kev, that's my husband, thought it would be good for me.
Oh, a vegan, eh? How does your hubby feel about that? I saw him the other day with you, and he's a big bloke. Doesn't he miss his meat? My Alan loved his meat. Roasts, chops, pies, casseroles, you name it. I cooked him a meaty meal every day without fail.
Kev's 100% behind me. Says he doesn't miss his meat at all.
Are you sure he's not sneaking a crafty Greg's steak baking when he's at work with the lads?
Goodness, no. Mind you, I did find a Gingster's pasty wrapper in his trousers the other day, but he said he picked it up as part of our campaign to save the ocean of plastic.
I'm sure that's what it was, love.
How about you, Jean, and your allotment?
It was Alan's, my hubby. When I lost him 3 years ago, I thought I'd keep it up. Makes me feel a part of him is still with me.
Oh, Jean, I'm so sorry for your loss. Were you married for long?
25 years. He was a cobbler.
I'm sure it wasn't.
Wasn't what?
A load of old cobblers, your marriage, you know?
I said he was a bloody cobbler, you daft mare.
Oh, God, I am so sorry. Just like me putting my foot in it again.
Oh, don't be daft, love. My Alan would have loved that. Anyway, let's get on. I've got these beans to plant and it looks like rain. Just a word of warning. That Dieter over there, older bloke with the pipe, nice enough when you get to know him, but a bugger for keeping things tidy. Let's make sure your Kev picks up any pasty wrappers he finds floating about.
Hello there, Jay. Do you mind if I join you?
No, that's okay.
Mind if I smoke?
No, go ahead.
Well, Jake, how's life treating you?
Oh, well, you know.
No, Jake, I don't. That's why I'm asking. Things okay at home?
Okay.
Any job interviews lately?
No.
Seen any good films?
Yeah, I saw that latest Avengers film last week.
Oh, what are they avenging this time?
Villains blowing up the universe.
Blimey, I can see why they're angry. Well, mostly.
Yeah, there's some of it that I wouldn't miss either.
Shall we compare notes?
Well, you go first.
Dale.
Oh, you've been talking with him, have you?
I've had that dubious pleasure.
The Avengers go macro whilst you two goes micro then.
It seems that they know which is the money maker.
I'd pay to see the Avengers take on Dale and his budgies.
Dale and his budgies. Now there's a thought.
Yeah, and not a pretty one. I suppose it's my turn now.
Oh, well, if you want.
Parents.
Ah, that old chestnut.
Well, they're just, you know.
Yes, Jake, this time I certainly do. I have one piece of advice for you, if you'd like to hear it.
Yeah, go on.
Well, It's an old Japanese proverb which wouldn't sit well with your film heroes, but it goes something like this. He who looks for revenge should dig 2 graves.
For both parents?
No, I think it's meant that one's for you.
Oh, that's an interesting one, Dieter. I'll have to think about that.
Yes, you do, son. Well, it's been nice talking with you.
Anyway, back to Roger Barrett. Well, we had a couple of bottles and he got quite animated. He was a musician, so I hummed a couple of the Earth songs, our version of what you humans call hymns, that we all learn as young gnomes. The Badgers contributed backing vocals. Dear old Rog was very affected. He said he wanted to change his name to Sid and start a band. I hummed, the Badgers wailed, he jammed. I suggested a name for the band, actually, but Dogs of the Soul Crusher didn't go down too well with Sid. The Soul Crusher's a nice guy if you stay on the right side of him. He doesn't apply to us, though. How could he crush the soul of the earth? Mostly, he uses badgers as his dogs if they're not busy digging my library. Anyway, Sid went for something russy like Puce Errol or Lavender Gideon. So, Sid went off to start the band. I regret what happened to him. He was always looking for the buzz of the gnomish. He kept searching for it, never got there. He wrote a song about me. I like to think he made it whimsical and quaint to hide my actual nature. I've heard it whizzing about on your intertubes. They go under the earth, so I get to listen. Oh, here it is, Pink Floyd. I told you it was Russie, the gnome. After Sid lost it, I thought I'd move. I travel in the earth because I'm part of her. I'm made of her. North through the fens, Norfolk's pretty soggy, onto the loaminess of Lincolnshire. And that's where I've stayed.
Hello there, Emily. How are you today?
Not too bad, thank you. Dale not with you today, Poppy?
Does he ever give me a break? I'd love to get down here on my own for a bit of peace and quiet. But there he is, over there, flapping about with them damn budgies. Just flapping about. Do you fancy a cuppa, love? It would be nice to have a chat with someone different. This has just finished brewing.
You've brought a teapot with you?
You've got to do things proper.
Well, if you're sure you don't mind, Poppy, haven't you got things to do, though?
Come on, sit here next to me. Sugar?
One, please.
There you are.
Oh, lovely, thank you.
You're a very quiet lass, Emily. You don't talk much. I hope you don't mind me saying. I sometimes look over at you, working away on your plot, and I don't know, it's like you sometimes drift off, like you've gone somewhere else. Mind you, there are times I wish I could be somewhere else.
I do think there is more to life, though, than us just being down here. I do think people can communicate from the other side.
The other side? Do you mean the other side of the allotments? Yes, you can. I hear them. When it's quiet and the wind blows the right way, it carries their voices. That's probably what you hear.
No, not the other side of the allotment. The other side. You know, where we go once we've died.
Oh, you mean heaven? That would be nice, hearing from family and friends in heaven.
Well, if that's what you want to call it, heaven. I'm not so sure if I would call it heaven. I think heaven is wherever we want them to be. Sometimes I think they've just gone somewhere nice that we once visited. Maybe on a day out, or even a holiday. Anyway, that's what I think, and that's maybe why other people think I'm weird.
Weird? Who says that? You're not weird. If that's what you believe your heaven is, you just carry on thinking that. I like the idea. I'm going to give a bit of thought to that. Me, my heaven would be a nice quiet spot by a waterfall. Oh, lovely.
With Dale?
Dale? Dale wouldn't be in my heaven. He would be in some stinky old science lab. That would be heaven to Dale. Now, if you want weird, Emily, some would say me and Dale are a bit weird. A weird old couple.
I suppose everyone's a little bit weird in their own way.
Absolutely. Take our pipe-smoking friend over there. He's a character. Look at him, standing over Jean and that new woman as if they can't rake up a few weeds and stones without his help.
You've missed a big one there. Look.
Whoops, my bad.
My bad what?
Maybe she's talking about my bad feet. She's had her head bent down looking at them for the past 10 minutes.
No, I was watching a programme last night and this cop on it kept calling his partner my bad.
As I said, my bad what?
Oh, I wasn't sure really. I think it was slang.
Did one of the coppers have bad breath? He should learn to keep a packet of mints in his trouser pocket.
Slang? I suppose you think this thing you watched emanated from the Americas.
Actually, it did. Don't you just love that stuff? So full of plot and fast moving.
If it was so full of plot, as you say, then they would make sure that you as the viewer would understand. But apparently they were in dereliction of this intention.
Perhaps it's my bad hairdo. I have an appointment next month and they're going to really improve my highlights and roots. And the girl says that she really has plans for my split ends.
Anyway, the cop said my bad and I just wondered what it meant.
Would help if they phrased their sentences properly. Typical of productions emanating from the colonies, sloppy and weak like those for whom they make programmes for.
He might have meant his bad teeth. Perhaps he was having dental problems if he'd been socked in the kisser by a perp.
I can see you have been an avid watcher of this kind of televisual so-called feast of entertainment.
I don't think it was that, Jean. He had lovely pearlies and I noticed a really good head of hair. Don't you just love a man with a good thatch?
Oh, yes. Just like the one with the moustache, you know. He was in Magnum P.I.
I remember, wasn't it Tom something, Herrick or Haddock? No, not something fishy, something else.
Another American opus. Conan Doyle, eat your heart out.
Wonder if it was named after the ice cream.
There wasn't much ice cream in it, as I remember.
So anyway, what was so bad that he felt the need to express this emotion?
I'm not sure about that. It just made me think.
Come on, Justine, I'm off to see David. I'll show you where the bins are on the way.
Yes, nice to meet you.
See you in a bit, Dieter.
Well, perhaps my bad meant the level of conversation in this allotment. Or perhaps it referred to their supposed level of effective weeding.
I like to think of myself as patient, but those bloody blackbirds are really pushing their luck. I swear if I only had a gun. Clear off, you little beggars.
Hello, David. Are those blackbirds annoying you as well? I was only thinking that old Mr. Belcher's scarecrow must be slacking off a bit.
Slacking off, Jean? I think the old sack has retired. I swear the other day I saw one of them little birds nestle down in one of her dress pockets. I'm sure if I had my Rover down here, he would do a better job of scaring them off.
Have you still got old Rover?
Oh, yes. He's a good age now, though.
Oh, they become part of the family, don't they? It's like my cat, Harry. Since I lost my husband, I think Harry is just keeping his chair warm for him. Mind you, when my hubby was here, his backside rarely got up out of the chair.
We'd be lost if anything happened to Rover. Anyway, Jean, what do you reckon about old Belcher's scarecrow? Do you think he needs a new one? I think it's gone a bit soft round the edge. Look, looks too lived in. Lived in by blackbirds, that is.
Not sure if we can expect Mr. Belcher's scarecrow to do all the work. We maybe need a few more dotted around. Maybe one on each plot. Hey, love, what do you think? It would be a laugh, wouldn't it? Oh, the fun I would have thinking who to model mine on.
Yeah, I can see it now. Dito with a pipe, and that Dale so tall you couldn't even reach to get a hat on his head, and a flaming Bunsen burner in his hand.
There are certainly some characters on here. Some lovely folk all in their own way. But if scarecrows could talk, I bet there would be a few stories to be told.
I don't know about Tales of the Riverbank. We could have tales from the potting shed.
Well, that's it. Next time there are a few more of us down here, we will have this chat with them. It will be a bit of company for Mr. Belcher's effort.
Yeah. Well, right, Jean, I'd best get on. Need to put some netting over my strawberry plants.
Yes, love. Let's leave the scarecrow to her work.
Yeah. Are you listening? Do your job. Scare some crows. If not, I'll be bringing in an old suit, jacket, and a pair of trousers so Belcher can replace you.
Bloomin' cheek of it. Who does he think he is? A new scarecrow. Too lived in? I am Mulch Turnip Toe. I've given my life to them, to this allotment. I stand here in all weather, but them, first sign of rain and they head off to their shed, or their Ford Focus with their flask of tea, or something even stronger, or they clear off home to their lovely warm houses. It's all right for them. Comfy chairs, hot meals, cosy fires. Well, cosy radiators. You wouldn't catch me next to a fire. Oi! Clear off, bird brain! You're a blooming pest! You really are! Get lost! If I've told that sparrow to buzz off once this morning, I've told him 1,000 times. He's been nought but a nuisance since the sun come up. How can a scarecrow relax and enjoy the fair weather with him flitting about from pillar to post? Look at the state of this patch. Mr. Belcher only planted them peas the other week, and there's hardly any left. There's been that many birds picking over 'em, and I'm bloomin' sure a mouse or two had a go at 'em last night while I was asleep. I reckon I'm for the high jump. He'll be furious when he sees the mess they've made of the place. Half of me will be for the compost heap, the other half for the dustbin. Hey up, here comes a starling. 2 of them. Bold as brass. I can't see you both, perched up there in Mrs. Crompton's damson tree. Move along. There's nothing to see here. Try 3 plots down. Mrs. Skinner's got some nice raspberries just coming. Go on, get gone. That did the trick. Off they go, up, up and away. That told 'em. Mulch Turnip Toe 1, starlings 0. Ugh, I don't believe it. You mucky beggar! I'll wring your scrawny little neck if I ever get my hands on you! All over the front of me best frock. Well, me only frock. I'll be stuck with that now till the next downpour. Bloomin' birds. We ate 'em.
Hi there, it's Justine, isn't it? I'm David. Wondered if you'd be able to make any use of this veg.
Hi, great to meet you. How kind of you. You sure you don't need it for yourself?
No, it's fine. There's plenty now. It's just me and the wife at home. Thought it might help you out until you get your own going.
Well, that's very kind of you. I don't know if mine will ever come on very well. I never know if I'm overwatering or underwatering them. Mind you, if I don't sort this hose out soon, there'll be no watering full stop. It's got in a right tangle.
Here, let me help.
Thanks. Was that music I heard coming from your shed earlier?
It was indeed. I hope it wasn't annoying you. Dieter hates it. I love the classics.
No, not at all. It reminded me of when I was young. It was my mum's favourite, Sonata number 14. She was a music teacher.
It's my favourite too. Such a moving piece. And I taught too. Not music though, maths. Everyone's dread. I became a headmaster in the end. Loved it. I do play the violin though. Do you play?
No, both my sisters did, and beautifully. I always sounded like a strangled cat, Mum said. No, I took after my dad. He was a geography teacher, gave me a love of the world. I actually gave up my teacher training part way through to travel. Yet another disappointment to my mum. Anyway, I won't bore you with that.
I don't see how anyone could see you as a disappointment, Justine. Quite the opposite, in fact, I would say.
Now, David, that's enough of that flirting with the young lady.
Oh, not at all, Poppy. David and I were just chatting about his love of the violin.
I bet he was. Got a few strings to your bow, haven't you, David?
You're always cramping my style, Poppy.
What style?
This is Poppy, if you haven't already been introduced.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Justine. I'm pleased to meet you.
Poppy, did you see Jean's wonderful sunflowers as you passed by? It's very Van Gogh, isn't it?
They are beautiful. Is that another one of the strings to your bow, David? Art?
It is, Justine. I love a good gallery.
Became very popular in bridal bouquets, did the sunflower. Didn't hold for it much myself. Much prefer roses and wisteria. I love a bit of wisteria in a bouquet.
I had sunflowers in mine, funnily enough, and wild daisies. Oh, and poppies as well, as it happens.
You've obviously got good taste.
Actually, while you're both here, I wanted to ask you something. Have you ever had any funny experiences while you're here?
I live with Dale. That's a funny experience every day, I can tell you.
No, I mean like a weird experience. I stayed late last night. There was only me on here, not a cloud in the sky or a breeze in the air. And suddenly, the apple trees next to me started to really rustle, like they were trying to whisper something to me. I got a cold chill all over me. And it was only the trees near me. Everything else was totally quiet and still.
Oh, I think we might know what that was. Eh, David?
Indeed we might. I think you've had your first experience of the allotment ghost.
Ghost?
Yes, the allotment ghost. Every allotment has one.
Or more.
Don't, you're scaring me.
Oh, sorry, sweetie. We don't mean to. There's a story about a ghost that surrounds the allotment. You're best asking Emily. She knows all about it.
Hello, Jakey love. How's it going?
Hi, Jean. How are you?
Now, I asked first, Jakey boy. I demand a full and in-depth answer.
Oh, you know.
Jake, love, that doesn't constitute a full and in-depth answer now, does it?
No, I suppose not.
Well then, see if you can give it another go.
I'm all right, I suppose.
Well, that's good to hear, Jake, love, but I'm not entirely convinced. Anything bothering you?
No, not really.
Well, aren't you the lucky one? I could go on all day. Would you like to know what's bothering me?
Go on then.
Mushrooms, Jakey boy, mushrooms.
Mushrooms?
Yes, mushrooms, or rather the disappearance of them anyway.
You've lost some mushrooms.
Yes. Jake, love, look over there amongst Robert's old garden gnome collection. Notice anything different?
No.
Nothing at all?
No.
Honestly, Jake, someone's been moving them around and all of the mushrooms have disappeared.
Toadstools.
What?
Gnomes tend to hang around on toadstools.
I'm not talking about the red plastic ones with white spots. I mean real mushrooms. All of the mushrooms have gone.
Well, who might have done it?
I've no idea, Jakey. All I know is that the mushrooms have all gone and that the gnomes are moving around.
Perhaps they come to life when we go home.
At this stage in my inquiries, Jake, love, I'm ruling nothing out and nothing in. All I know is that they're moving and disappearing. And that's not the only odd thing that I've noticed around here either.
What do you mean?
I get a really strange feeling on here sometimes, as though I'm being watched. Oh, makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end.
Sounds creepy. Anyway, I don't know how to get your mushrooms back, but I've got an idea how to make sure that your gnomes don't go the same way.
What's that, Jake, love?
Get them all together and tell them that if they ever get lost to click their heels 3 times and say, "There's no place like Nome."
I don't think that you're taking this entirely seriously, Jake.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it. My mum's favourite film.
I can see that I'll need to crack this case on my own. At least you look a bit happier now than when I first saw you, love.
Yeah, thanks, Jean. Your stories really cheered me right up.
Well, at least that's one good thing that's come of it. If you see any mushrooms looking lost on your travels, you will let me know, won't you?
Okay, will do.
Only a week or so ago, I scented something different in the earth. Further investigation revealed an interesting mycelium that had fruited above ground. After dark, I went upstairs to sniff about. The fruits had mushroomed in an uncultivated area full of statues. I harvested the mushrooms and had started to toddle back down when I caught a glimpse of a plaque saying "Gnome, Sweet Gnome." Whiskey Tango Foxtrot? Might these statues reward another look? Indeed they might. Gross caricatures of my species, a slander on the earth. One was fishing in a well, implying that we eat newts. Newts are nothing to do with me. They're the province of the water elementals, the naiads. I'd no more eat a newt than a naiad would eat a rabbit. Another statue was sporting a phallus. Whoever crafted that didn't know much about gnome physiology. For a joke, I positioned the newt catcher facing down into his well and the phallus-bearing one behind him. Oh, what larks!
Oh, doesn't that bird song sound lovely, Dale?
Beautiful. Do you know what make it is?
It's a wren, I think, about the size of a 50p piece.
Blimey. It would give my budgies a run for their money. It's got some gob on it for something so small.
Remind you of anyone?
Now there's a leading question, David.
Indeed. Shall we let discretion be the better part of valour?
It's not usually my style, but as Poppy's almost within earshot, perhaps we'd better.
Mind you, she does have you and your budgies to contend with.
So she does. She needs all of that lung capacity and then some.
Selective deafness too.
Yes, that's a superpower that's often overlooked.
What are your superpowers, Dale?
I'm not sure that I've got any, David.
Oh, you most certainly have. Would you like me to list some of them?
Go on then.
You're a good listener, a good talker, and an excellent bon viveur.
What does that mean?
Oh, bon viveur? It means that you like the good things in life.
Ha! I've had my moments.
Well, there you go then, special powers. Would you like a drop of something special that I keep in my potting shed for occasions such as these?
If you're twisting my arm, and as long as it's not Miracle Grow.
Oh, no, it's not Miracle Grow. But I am twisting your arm in retaliation for all the leg pulling that you usually inflict on me.
Guilty as charged.
Righto, I'll just go and find it. Here we go. One glass for you and one for me. Excuse the dead flies and the dust.
Much obliged.
There you go. I thought you'd appreciate the large one.
You know me well. Oh, that hit the spot. Are we technically allowed alcohol on the allotment?
Only for medicinal purposes. Do you feel better?
Certainly do.
Well, there we are then. I've got my violin with me today, if you'd like a tune.
Under the influence?
Who's that by?
No. Will your playing be affected by the alcohol?
It should be okay. It brings out the Stefan Grappelli in me.
Well, in that case, how can I refuse? Bravo, my friend. Almost as good as that wren earlier, and most definitely a superpower.
Hello, Dieter. Thank goodness that you're here. One more minute of talk about busy Lizzies and lazy Susans, and I swear my head will explode. My word, your vegetables look neat. They wouldn't look out of place at Horse Guards Parade, would they? That's what I like about you, Dieter. You leave space for other people to talk. Not like some other people.
Dale?
How did you guess? Those budgies can't get a word in edgeways. He's constantly telling them what he's up to. One long internal monologue. Not like me. I like peace and quiet.
No, not like you at all.
Your allotment is so different from ours. Not a thing out of place.
Thank you, Poppy. If only the rest of the world was like that.
I'd settle for less lattice trellis, but I know what you mean. Even that big old gnarly tree at the end there looks just right. Sort of standing guard.
I didn't plant that, but I did put the gnome at its base.
Gnome base. Are you trying to be funny, Dieter?
No.
I didn't think so. Ah, well, Dieter, it's been nice talking to you. Think I'll wander back to see what Dale's up to. It'll be nearly time to feed the budgies anyway.
You've got to fly then?
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
What?
Never mind. Oh, before I go, talking of flying, are you having a problem with wasps?
Bit early for wasps.
That's what I thought. But some are about and they won't leave us alone.
Try to keep the lid on the biscuit tin for a change.
Blooming things. They're so annoying. Such pests. Anyway, bye for now.
I am was. We are was. We are collective. We inhabit, we cohabit, we hit and bit and rarely zit. We live in the cool, dark earth on our chopped up down era of a home in our crunchy, sweet honeycomb of a place. Safe and sound in our zells, but not as prisoners. But we come and go and stay on the down low, doing our thing and rarely sting. Our taste is not to waste. We make our home to take the loam of the earth and use the old nest of the 1,000 little black ones, appropriating the remainders as antiques. In our society of structure, we have our commune. Each of us knowing our place in our world and happy to be like Buzzerby, but better that they, faster and sleeker, the Spitfire of the insect world, the fighter, the interceptor, the protector of all that we value and cherish and nurture in nature pure. We serve our queen gladly. She who gave us life and worth and from whom we owe our existence and future and form. Subservient in our structure, and if you give us a chance, take time to study, to learn, to understand, we will serve you too. We come in peace. We mean no harm. We theorize, hypothesize, make identifications, verifications, classifications and nullifications of the flies of green, the eight-leggers, the multi-leggers, and thus we cannot understand why you hate, why you fear, why you kill. You revere us in your sport of the oval ball, which mirrors our team, but yet you will to kill. We do not. We feed our young with the prey we take and wish only to survive. Watch us, study us, learn from us, and we will live together. But if you hack us, sack us, do not back us, we will spike and strike, protect and defend our insect world. Wouldn't you?
Fancy a brew, Jake? I've got plenty of hot water to spare.
What?
Fancy a cuppa?
A tea?
Yes, we always bring a flask of boiled water.
I wouldn't mind if it's not too much trouble.
No trouble. You look like you need it. It's thirsty work he's digging.
Oh, I'm sweating.
I bet you are. How do you take it?
Milk, 1 sugar.
Coming right up.
Mum told me to dig over a patch ready for Gramps to plant his potatoes when he's up to it.
Too right. He'll want to plant his potatoes when he gets back, will Billy? How is he?
They're not great.
Oh, bless him. Give him my love.
Yep, I will.
I bet it's a comfort to him knowing his allotment's in safe hands.
I don't know what I'm doing most of the time.
It's good of you to offer to help him out.
Mum said I had to.
Well, it's better than sitting in the house.
It doesn't bother me. I'd rather be in my room at home on the computer.
It's good to get some fresh air in your lungs. Get at one with nature.
Last week, I got stung by nettles, bit by a mozzie, and scratched by brambles. You can keep your nature.
That's part of the fun of it. The great outdoors.
It's boring.
Just you wait. You'll get the bug. Just you see. There's great satisfaction in gardening, creating a little place of beauty on the world's surface, a haven of happiness, a refuge for the weary spirit.
And I hate it when it rains as well.
I think you need a biscuit. I've got Bourbons or rich tea, and if you dig deep, there might be a jammy dodger at the bottom of the tin.
Growing up as a kid, there used to be an allotment near where I lived. Every day, on the way to and from infant school, I'd pass it. As most of the surroundings where I lived were pretty bleak, lots of derelict factories and other grim old Victorian buildings. To me, there was always something quite special about that allotment. It was certainly the most beautiful and interesting thing in the neighbourhood. Sometimes, on the way home from school, I'd sit on the stone wall, overlooking the allotment, and just watch the old-timers going about their business. There was something rather mysterious and magical about the place, and even the whole business of growing things seemed something fantastical. Growing up, I came to love that allotment without being able to say why. There was many years before I'd set foot on an allotment again. A few years ago, against all expectations, one day I actually found myself taking a plot in this allotment. There were lots of reasons, really, but a large part of it was a kind of therapy after the death of a close friend and recovering from long illness myself. As allotments go, I think ours had a lot going for it. We had plenty of space to grow whatever takes our fancy. Over there, we have a nice little greenhouse and a garden shed, and right at the far end, there's a wild area with a little pond. It's the place where nature gets to do its own thing, as Shannon would say. Yes, it's a beautiful spot. Okay, their shed is a bit of an eyesore, and we've had some comments about it over the years. Some say it looks like it's seen a murder or two. Shannon always used to joke that it looked like the kind of place where people were secretly turning cats into slippers, or putting meat into Linda McCartney's pies, or something other dreadful things. Shannon always did have a strange sense of humour. She was a little bit weird, with the best sense of the word. I remember that first day she came onto the allotment, in her duffel coat, a child's watering can in one hand, and a copy of the Tibetan Book of the Dead in the other, wearing the most psychedelic wellies you can imagine. Well, being a little unusual myself, shall we say, we hit it off in no time, and for a while we had a bit of a thing going. She was so funny, and while we were working on that allotment, we'd be having these rambling conversations about everything under the sun, from crop circles, the sex lives of snails, time travel, the Russian Revolution, the paintings of the pre-Raphaelites, the inner life of trees, polo mints. We covered the lot. I always used to joke that the day she arrived was like a firework going off. Yes, it was good while it lasted. Then one day, as suddenly as she arrived, she was gone. It wasn't long after that when I saw the little black dog for the first time. I remember it was raining. Tiny little thing it was, just sat in the grass on the other side of our pond, just staring back at me. It was only there a few moments, then it went. I didn't give it a lot of thought at the time, but over the next few weeks I saw that little dog again, on 2 other occasions, always in the same place, just as before, always on rainy days. It's difficult to say what was going through my mind at the time, but after the last occasion, it's a strange thing. For a few days I felt a kind of bliss. I wasn't to know it, But soon afterwards came another day, the day I caught a sudden chill. Pretty soon it turned into something more serious, and then that was that. One minute you're planting potatoes, the next minute you're pushing up daisies. Now, don't get me wrong, I know it's a strange thing to say, but being dead has a lot of good points. As Shannon would put it, it's all about taking things in your stride and going with the flow. And so it is. New sensations, new experiences, a new perspective. Some things haven't changed. I still like to spend time in the allotment, listen to the chit-chat. I enjoy the jokes, I enjoy the wildlife, and the changing of the seasons is quite something. As for putting in an appearance, well, I never was one for a cheap laugh. I much prefer to keep a low profile, but I do like to check in with one or two of the gardeners occasionally. The other day I heard Shannon might be paying a visit to the allotment. It'd be nice to see her again. Wonder what she's wearing these days, and what she's reading.
Hi. Hi.
Oh, hello. Sorry, I was in a world of my own, watching these little blighters. Fascinate me, they do. Bees.
Me too. But we really need to protect them.
I agree. I'm very much at one with nature. Much more so than with humans.
Well, they're a lot less complicated, that's for sure.
From what life has taught me about humans, I know which side of the fence I sit on.
I see what you mean, but I've met some lovely people here on the allotment. They've made me feel very welcome. I'm Justine, by the way.
Hello, I'm Emily.
I know Poppy pointed you out to me. I wanted to pick your brains if I may, Emily.
Pick away. There's not much of them, but have a good delve.
I'm sure that's not true. Anyway, it was Poppy that said I should have a word with you.
Go on.
Well, I had a very unearthly experience. And when I told Poppy and David, they said, the allotment ghost. Both together, just like that. It gave me the collywobbles.
I can just imagine them. They talk about him like he's the devil himself. It's only James.
James?
Yes, James. He died a while back. He was only 31. Tragic, really. It was after a supernatural experience. I never actually knew him back then, but he's told me all about it. We have some wonderful talks. He's so interesting. Very well read. He knows such a lot. Not boring, though. He's got a wicked sense of humour, and I can tell you he doesn't miss a trick.
I'm sorry, I'm confused. Didn't you say he was dead? Yet you talk about him as if he's literally right here with you.
Yes, he's dead in the worldly sense, but very much here in spirit. I don't know why he scares you. I find him very calming. Relaxes me no end. Mind you, there's only been me and Shannon so far he's connected with. You should take it as a compliment. He doesn't suffer fools gladly.
That's so strange. I was told before I had a spiritual aura around me. It was when I met the Maku tribe, and that was when I visited the Amazon rainforest. Their spiritual guardians reside in nature. Although some people say our brains just scrabble around looking for answers to give a meaning in all of this chaos, a kind of shield against the harsher truths of the world. Oh, listen to me getting all deep. Away with the fairies, as Kev always says.
Sometimes that's the best place to be. I like you, Justine. 'Tis Justine, isn't it? You're a kindred spirit.
Oh, you're too kind. But thank you, Emily. And thank you, James, if you're there. See you later.
You were right, James. She is one of us, but still waters run deep. There's a lot of sadness in that girl. You should watch over her.
Everyone should have someone to watch over them. Us gnomes have badgers and vice versa. I remember the day somebody decided to use a rotavator directly above my kitchen. I'd thought that this place was for gentle agriculture, not thumping, churning, rackety contraptions that bring my ceilings down. If I'd known, I'd have dug deeper in the first place. Well, I'd have had the badgers dig deeper. I sent out a call for the digging crew, but they'd be a couple of hours getting here, so I had to improvise. I thickened the earth underneath the damn clattering machine's blades so that the engine stalled, then shored up the undamaged chambers and corridors with stiffening fluents. That took some power, so I fortified myself with another glass or two of gnomish and waited for the badgers. Gnomes and badgers go back a long way. Hardiest of the mustelids, they benefit from gnomes' protection against human persecution. Send dogs after them, we send scents from the earth to confuse the dogs. Gas their sets, we soften the earth that they may quickly dig themselves out and run away. We got their backs, they do our digging.
David, some of us have come here for some quiet.
Sorry, Jean. I'd forgotten you were there.
Well, you remember now.
Yeah, sorry again. I just got a bit carried away.
Have you two been drinking as well?
Yes, but just the one. Honest, Jean. Don't tell Poppy.
Dale, you both know that alcohol isn't allowed on site except on special occasions.
No, you're quite right, Jean, but this is a special occasion.
What special occasion?
Go on, David. You tell her.
We're toasting the arrival of our new allotment friend, Justine.
Did someone mention my name?
Ah, that's good timing, Justine. We were just about to raise a glass to you.
To me?
Yes, to wish you luck with your new plot.
Oh, thank you, but it really isn't necessary.
Nonsense. Here's a glass for you, and a glass for Jean.
Thank you.
Oh, tar, love.
I'd like to propose a toast to Justine. May your onions be the envy of all. Cheers!
Cheers!
Cheers! Cheers!
So you've heard about what goes on up there on the allotment. Humans, huge as the earth in their variety, go about their short concerns with fortitude, humour and generosity. Nothing earth-shaking, and that's good. Quiet and calm is the aim of us all. We are oddities, spirits, hive minds, humans in all their diversities. Scarecrows, gnomes, we all gently worship the earth, as is her due.
Broad Beans, Buddleia and Bourbon Biscuits, Voices from an Allotment, was written by Glenn Tate, Joe Simmons, John Bell, Kai Bailey, Lee Johnson, Liz Dugard and Peter Hewson, with contributions and support from Derek Brasted, Mandy Krebs, Robin Turner and Simon Harvey. It featured the following performers in order of appearance: John Bell as Grimble Grumble, Peter Hewson as Dale, Liz Dugard as Poppy, Joe Simmons as Justine, Mary Rudkin as Jean, Tony Gordon as Dieter, Aaron Pettican as Jake, Tamara Mills as Emily, Colette Buchanan Gray as Mulch Turnip Toe, Stuart Bull as David, Joe Moulls as the Wasp, and Callum Thomas as James. The programme was recorded and edited by Callum Thursby and directed by Kai Bailey. This production was presented by the Lincolnshire Move project, which is funded by the European Social Fund and the National Lottery Community Fund.